For your first time wrestling in a match, you will be taking the fundamentals that you've learned during practice and applying them in a competition setting. First, as soon as you find out where and when you will be wrestling, make certain you inform your coach of your upcoming match so he or she is nearby to guide you during your time on the mat. Additionally, you will need to be dressed appropriately. You should be wearing your basic competition gear, i.e. singlets and shoes, with extra equipment such as headgear nearby and ready to wear. Your hair will need to be pulled back and out of your face, and your body free of jewelry or extra accessories. While waiting for your turn, you may want to wear non-competition gear as you warm up. Make sure you take adequate time to get your muscles stretched and moving, and focus your mind in preparation for your match. When it is your turn to wrestle, make your way to the scoring table for your mat and confirm with the staff both your full name and school. This is to establish that the match that is about to be wrestled is in fact between you and your opponent. After checking in, either the staff or the referee will assign you a color, red or green, and you will step into the inner circle of the mat and attach the anklet of your color before getting in position facing your opponent with one foot on the colored line. At the referee's signal, you will shake hands with your opponent, take your stance, and, upon the referee's whistle, begin wrestling. Do not stop wrestling unless the referee blows his whistle, even if you think you should. The table staff will only know to stop the time and allow for the athletes to reset upon this signal, regardless of the circumstances. During your match, you can either win by earning more points than your opponent within the allocated time, or by pinning them. A pin, or fall, is when you put your opponent on her back with any part of both shoulders in contact with the mat definitively. If the referee calls a pin at any point, the match is over. Points can be scored in the following manner. A takedown, in which a wrestler brings their opponent to the mat and demonstrates control over them inbounds, earns 2 points. If you are on bottom and escape your opponent's control, putting both players in a neutral position, you earn 1 point. Conversely, a reversal has you switch positions from bottom to top, gaining control over your opponent without separation and earning 2 points. If, in your effort to pin an opponent, you turn them so that their back is exposed to the mat without both shoulders touching, a referee will count the seconds of exposure for near fall points. Exposure that lasts 2 to 5 seconds earns 2 points, while exposure beyond 5 seconds earns 3 points. Penalty points are awarded to wrestlers when their opponents break set rules, such as stalling, technical violations, and illegal holds. Please refer to the penalty points video for details on such moves. Referees award penalty points in the following order: 1 point for the first and second violation, 2 points for the third violation, and upon committing a fourth penalty, the offending wrestler will be disqualified from the match. While penalty points are cumulative throughout the rounds, they do not carry beyond the match itself. Under normal circumstances, wrestling matches are comprised of 3 periods that last 2 minutes each. During the first period, wrestlers will begin in the neutral position, on their feet and facing each other, with neither in control. At the beginning of the second period, the referee will flip a colored disc to determine which wrestler will choose the position of the period. The wrestler chosen can either pick to start the round in neutral position, referee position bottom, referee position top, or to defer. Referee position bottom places the wrestler on their hands and knees facing the referee, hands in front of the top parallel lines, knees behind the bottom parallel line. Knees should be spaced apart and arms slightly bent, with weight distributed evenly for quick movement and balance, and your head should be up, watching for the referee's whistle. Referee position top has a wrestler covering their opponent, which can be done from either side. The outside knee is resting on the mat parallel to the bottom wrestler, while the inside knee is set behind them. The top wrestler places their outside hand on their opponent's elbow, and the inside hand loosely around the opponent's waist, touching their belly button. The wrestler's head should be placed on their opponent's back, facing the referee in order to watch for the referee's whistle. During the second period, a wrestler can choose to defer to their opponent. which gives the choice of position to the other wrestler for the second period and allows the wrestler that deferred to choose top, bottom, or neutral in the third period. When you are choosing a position, refer to your coaches in the corners of the mat, then inform the referee what you've decided. The referee will then signal for you and your opponent to get into position before starting the period. A wrestler's safety is of the utmost importance during competition. The referee will pause the match for bleeding or injury, with separate amounts of time allocated for each. During blood time, the wrestler's team will be responsible for stopping the bleeding and covering the wound before resuming the match. If the wrestler begins bleeding again at any time once wrestling recommences, the match will be paused again and blood time will resume. Either the referee or table staff will monitor accumulated blood time, and if the wrestler continues bleeding after the allocated 5 minutes, the match will be forfeited. If the match is paused due to injury, the wrestler's team will have 1.5 minutes to determine whether the wrestler can continue wrestling. Wrestlers are allowed 2 injury timeouts, which together cannot exceed the allotted time or the match will be forfeited. If the score is tied at the end of regulation time, a 1-minute sudden death overtime match begins with both wrestlers in the neutral position, and the first to score a point wins the match. If neither wrestler scores in the 1-minute overtime period, a second overtime period takes place. During this period, there are 2 30-second tiebreaker rounds in which the referee flips the disc to decide who chooses top or bottom position in the first round, and the other wrestler chooses in the second round. At the end of the 2 rounds, whoever has the higher score wins. Should the score still be tied at the end of the 2 tiebreakers, a final 30-second sudden death overtime occurs. For this round, whichever wrestler scored first within the match chooses referee top or bottom position. If the bottom wrestler escapes, they win, while if the top wrestler is able to maintain control of the other wrestler, they are declared the winner. When the wrestling match is finished, each wrestler will return to their colored line and remove their anklets, placing them on the ground. Wrestlers will shake hands, and the referee will raise the hand of the winner. Then both wrestlers will walk to the opposing team's mat coach and shake their hand. If you are the winner of the match, after you finish shaking the coach's hand, return to the scoring table and check that the staff have correctly identified you as the winner by confirming your name and school. From there, you can collect your belongings and speak to your coach as you leave the mat. Thank you for watching for your first time, and we look forward to seeing you out on the mat.